member for Lilongwe Nyanja. Lilongwe Nyanja.
Iweso na manga iweso. Ndifanya kuna tuka mboma iweyo. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition iweyo kaya. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition. Inuso manga inuwe. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition kaya.
Honour member address the chair.
Inuso manga. Iweso watengaso za mereri siwe.
Honour member for Lilongwe Nyanja.
Wapese za mereri siwe. Watenga za mereri siwe iwe. Watenga za mereri siwe. Ukapweze huko. Mr. First Deputy Speaker.
Joy. Thank you, Right Honorable First Deputy Speaker. The 3 minutes I'll accept because you are sitting on that chair. But when talking about Bingu, we can talk about him in 30 minutes without getting tired. I think today is a great day that both sides of the house can agree that God had given us a great statesman in the name of Professor Bingu Wamtarik. And every young person, every old person admired the leadership of Professor Bingu Wamtarik. Because of Bingu Wamtarik, may his soul rest in peace, most of young people started politics. And I'm one of them who admired Professor Bingu Wamtarik. I come from Doha, and we had a challenge of the road. And I remember the current leader of the house was the Minister of Transport. I visited him and I asked him if we could have a road in Doha. Professor Bingu Wamtarik gave us the Doha Chase Road. Professor Bingu Wamtarik gave us the Nshisi Road. Professor Bingu Wamtarik gave us the Nkoma Road. Professor Bingu Wamtarik shared resources equally across the country. Professor Bingu Wamtarik talk about fertilizer subsidy. Professor Bingu Wamtarik gave every Malawian equal opportunities. Talk about access to education, resources, employment. Professor Bingu Wamtarik employed everyone across the country. It is, First Deputy Speaker, during the tenure of Professor Bingu Wamtarik, may he so rest in peace, that the father of this nation was recognized. The tombstone that you see there was built by Professor Bingu Wamtarik. First Deputy Speaker, it is Professor Bingu Wamtarik who said, no, let us give credit where it is due. And when he went to attend the day function in Kasungu, he asked the following questions. Chansa College ana manga ndani. Kamus International ya ana manga ndani. Bunda ana manga ndani. NRC ana manga ndani. M1 Road ana manga ndani. And because of that, First Deputy Speaker, because of that, listen carefully, the people of Central Region felt and they were in love with Professor Bingu Wamtarik. There is no president who has ever gotten votes in the Central Region than Professor Bingu Wamtarik. Professor Bingu Wamtarik got votes across the country. 67%, because he never participated into nepotism. It is Professor Bingu Wamtarik who appointed Dr. Jagwera as chairperson of Malawi Sports Council. It is Professor Bingwa Mutharika who appointed people from the Central Region and Northern Region, including Dr. Gudo Gondwe. It is Professor Bingwa Mutharika who made Malawi the first country. The dream to export more and not import more was born under the leadership of Professor Bingwa Mutharika. First Deputy Speaker, let me say this as I wind up, because I had written quite a lot. In just a few minutes, I have so many notes, so much notes, so that I can write and talk about Professor Bingwa Mutharika. But there is something that he gave us. He gave us, and he wanted us to continue, and that is the Shire Valley Transformation Project. Professor Bingu dreamed about the Shire Valley Transformation Project. He thought of ending hunger in a genuine way. He thought that irrigation alone can end hunger in this country. And he started that dream. And I want to thank the predecessors that came after him that have gone along to continue with the Shire Valley irrigation project. We must continue what Professor Bingu dreamed about us. When it came to support the poor person, Bingu supported the poor person. Finally, as we remember Professor Bingwa Mutharika, may he so continue, rest in peace, and let's remember to continue what others have started. When he dreamed about the Bingu Stadium, it was Joyce Banda who continued. When he talked about the Zuzu Airport, we must continue about it. When you talk about roads, we must continue what Bingu dreamt. Today, that side, this side, everyone else in this house must stand up and give a great credit to Professor Bingu Mutharika. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Thank you so much. Let's have the speak.
First Deputy Speaker, for granting the people of Planta Soji Zingwangwa a rare chance, the honor to pay tribute to the former President, Professor Bingwa Mutharika. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to salute the Minister of Information for delivering a very wonderful statement and a tribute to the former president. In addition, I would also like to salute the Minister of Foreign Affairs for an extension. What a wonderful tribute. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, thank you. Thank you because you have also given a chance to my generation to honor late Bingu. I have never met Bingu, but I know him. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I have never worked with Bingu, but you have given us a chance. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, for the mere fact that I'm able to stand in this house, although I've never worked with Bingu, although I've never met him, speaks volumes with regards to his legendary status. So, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, my short tribute will be titled, when I say anybody, I mean anybody. I got these words from the first
Honour Member for Lilongwe Nyanja. Honour Member for Lilongwe Nyanja. Honour Member for Lilongwe Nyanja. Lilongwe Nyanja.
Iweso na manga iweso. Ndifanya kuna tuka mboma iweyo. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition iweyo kaya. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition. Inuso manga inuwe. Ndifanya kuli kwa opposition kaya.
Honour Member address the chair.
Inuso mamanga. Fredo. Iweso watengaso za mereri siwe.
Honorable member for Lilongwe Nyanja.
Ukabweze za mereri siwe. Watenga za mereri siwe iwe. Watenga za mereri siwe. Ukabweze huko. Mr. First Deputy Speaker.
Joy. That I can respond directly.
Lighter moment. Thank you so much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker. My tribute to the late Ngwazi Professor Bingwa Mutharika is short. It is titled, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody." When I say anybody, I mean anybody. He said these words when he was being sworn in Kamuzu Stadium, first term. The thing that I caught in his speech, he said, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody." Now, fast forward, as UTM, Bingwa Mutharika, he made a decision that CEOs of multinational corporations in Malawi, for once, they should be led by Malawians. And through that policy, through that decision, Dr. Saulos Chilima became CEO of Airtel Malawi. Bingu had a vision for young people. Again, my tribute is titled, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody." Going further, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I've got a minute or two. Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, in the same spirit of Bingwa Mutharika, honored SKC and made him running mate, and he became Vice President of Malawi. Again, my tribute is titled, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody." Now, in our meetings at UTM, in OCC conversations, we could argue, we could debate. Our late president usually came in and said, "Once upon a time, there was Bingu." Every day, we would argue, and he comes, he says, "Once upon a time, there was Bingu." Again, when I say anybody, I mean anybody. Now, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, I was asking myself, if I was to close my eyes, and then I talk to Bingu, I meet him, and I ask him, what should we do to the people who have plundered the economy of this country? And as I close my eyes, he says, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody. No one should be spared." Then I ask him again, Professor Bingu, what should we do to the people who misrepresented facts on 10 June? To the people who know more about SKC, a young person you believed in. What should we do to them? Should we spare them? Then he says, "When I say anybody, I mean anybody." Thank you so much, Mr. First Deputy Speaker. Rest in peace, Professor Peter Mutharika.
Honourable member, switch off your microphone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For 3 minutes, Mulanje West.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the Right Honourable First Deputy Speaker, for recognizing the people of Mulanje West, Juma, and all the group of village headmen to celebrate the life of the late Dr. Bingwa Mutharika. Before I do so, allow me to congratulate the Minister of Information, and let me say congratulating government through the Minister of Information for coming up today to celebrate the life of the late Bingu. Congratulations, and may God bless you in a number of, in a special way. Don't worry about some people when they are repenting. Sometimes you go to the funeral of some people and cry your own funeral. But the late Bingu was a developmental person. The former vice president has said it, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said it. The Member of Parliament Fredo has said it as well when you say development person. He didn't even practice nepotism. And that's why 2005, 2006, even the by-election, all the people who stood on DPP won the elections, even in the Central region, because of his leadership and because of his developmental programs which are said across the country. The late Bingu was so patriotism to the nation, and he was the son of the soul Malawi. He loved Malawi as a country. He loved the people of Malawi. He loved all his people without even saying he's coming from Cholo or wherever, but he was a man of the people. The late Bingu was a peace-making person. He loved peace. He was able to unite people. He was able to call people when they were lying to say, I don't this. And he was able to remind a person who was coming up with lies to him. The late Bingu stood by his ways. He was not even shaken. He was able to call to say, this is what I'm looking forward. He was there making sure that people that are supposed to have food on the table. And yes, blood is thicker than water. And that's why the current president is also moving in the same direction, making sure that food is on the table. The food security which we are talking now, today we are able to buy maize at 25,000 at Nkando there. Limbuli we are buying at 20,000 a bag. And this is what the late Bingu Mutharika was advocating for. And the current president is also advocating for this as well. We thank his life. We thank him. May he so rest in peace. Because people are able to have food because of the programs and also the administration which he put in place. He was a man of integrity. Indeed, he was a statesman. He was able to share the resources equally, as to some of the people has highlighted here. Imagine if my dear brother who is here, when you are looking at me and you want to start inserting, if we had to follow what Bingu was doing, recognizing people. Oh, no, my brother, there are a number of brothers here. I'm not talking about you. There are brothers here, there are no cousins here. So there are brothers here. So if people, they had to follow what the late Bingu was doing, even recognizing whenever he was going to Doha, Nchisi, Kasungu, Nchinji, recognizing the work of the late Kamuzubanda, one of the statesmen as well. Even when he was in Blantyre, I was able to recognize his work. Who can do that? If some of these people were to recognize even the work of other people, even in Kirima, people couldn't be in the opposition, they would have been in government. We need to learn to respect others, even to recognize the work of others as well. And we salute him. He recognized what Kamuzu did in this country. He was the only person who was able to recognize what Kamuzu did. We need to learn from there, and I'm sure we learned through mistakes, and that's why we are coming today and repent and say, Bingu said Kamuzu did this. Now let's start from there to start also appreciating the work of others as well. Even the work which Kirima did for people to be in government, we need to appreciate that as well. So we thank the late Bingu. May his soul rest in peace. May you continue to, if we started today, this is April. Next April, do the same. We should be celebrating his life every year so that people should not even forget what he did in this nation. So that people have got to know that we had a man who was for everybody in this nation. The man who was for Chitipa to Sanje, the man who was for Nchinji to Nkota, the man who was for each and every tribe in the country, the man who was for development, the man who was for peace, the man who was for unity, the man who was for everything which people are going to describe the late Bingu, and may his soul rest in peace. And we thank you, and we thank the government, and we thank the Minister of Information for coming up with that. Bravo, and may God remember you in a special way. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir. I present a statement titled Honoring Bingu, Rekindling the Spirit of Development, Justice and Security. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, a nation that forgets its builders condemns itself to rubble. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, 14 years ago, Malawi lost a president. Today, we must ask ourselves questions. Have we lost his dream? Have we walked the roads he carved? Have we filled the granaries he blessed? Have we taught our children the name of a man who taught our soil to sing again? Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, let the ink of memory flow. Let the soil of Malawi, from the tea green hills of Cholo to the golden plains of Nchinji, rise and speak the name it will never forget. I rise to honor Dr. Bingu Mutharika, not merely a president, not merely an economist, but a promise this nation dared to keep. A dreamer who saw color where others saw only gray. 14 rains have fallen since he left us on 5th April 2012. Yet the granaries he filled still whisper his name. The roads he carved into our mountains still call our children forward. The universities he planted in our soil continue to awaken the minds of tomorrow. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, we do not simply remember, we proclaim. He was born in 1934 in Choro district to a home shaped by discipline, learning, and quiet hope. From humble classrooms in southern Malawi, he rose to the secondary school, that cradle of intellect where he completed his Cambridge Overseas School Leaving Certificate in 1956. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, many would have stopped there, but he did not. When Malawi found its independence in 1964, President Hastings Kamuzu Banda saw in him a spark worth a kindling and sent him to India. At the University of Delhi, he studied economics, learning the language of nations and the arithmetic of prosperity. He journeyed further still to the United States of America, where he earned his doctorate in development economics. Yet he was never meant to live only among books. He walked among institutions of power, at the World Bank, at the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and as Secretary General of COMESA. He studied the world, and then, resolved to change Malawi's place within it. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, his path to leadership was not paved with ease. In 1999, he stood for presidency and finished last. But failure did not define him. In 2004, with endorsement of the former President Bakir Murus, he rose. And when alliances broke, he did not bend. He forged the Democratic Progressive Party in 2005, and in 2009, the people spoke with clarity, giving him a resounding mandate of 66%. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, those who walked beside him, and I know that there are many here in this house, and Akweni is one of them, speak of a mind that moved ahead of its time. A man who saw not only what Malawi was, but what it could become. In fact, Archbishop Thomas Luke Msusa once said he encouraged Malawians to dream in color, and indeed, he did. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, he was a man of strong conviction, unapologetic in his certainty, unyielding in his standards. He called himself the economist in chief and carried the weight of that title with resolve. But conviction, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, is not a flaw when it builds nations. As he declared, he would not run from work, nor abandon responsibility when the road grew steep. And when that road turned rough, he stood his ground. The miracle of the soil from hunger to harvest. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, let us turn to the soil where his legacy first took root. When he assumed office in 2004, Malawi stood on the edge of hunger. The granaries were bare and millions faced uncertainty. Advice came from afar, urging restraint, urging caution. But he listened instead to the cry of his people. In 2005, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, he launched the Farm Input Subsidy Program, committing 1/10 of the national budget to the land. Fertilizer and seeds reached the hands of 1.6 million smallholder farmers, and the earth responded. Harvests rose from 1.2 million metric tons to 2.7 million, and then to 3.4 million tons. What had been a nation of scarcity became, with the seasons, a nation of surplus. The economist Jeffrey Sachs saw in this a lesson for a continent. And when partners doubted, when support was withdrawn, Bingu did not retreat. He chose his people. And because he chose them, they chose him again. The engine of prosperity and economy reborn. The harvest in the fields became a harvest in the economy. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, between 2004 and 2009, growth surged, rising to an average of 6.5%. Inflation eased. Poverty declined, and hope began to take root in the lives of ordinary Malawians. The nation found The nation found relief from debt, and new doors opened through global partnerships. For a moment in time, Malawi stood among. In foreign affairs, your first Deputy Speaker, sir, his vision crossed borders. In 2007, Malawi turned toward the People's Republic of China, opening a new chapter of partnership. Infrastructure rose, opportunities expanded, and engagement deepened across sectors. This was a decision of a strategy, not sentiment. On the continental stage, as chairperson of Malawi of African Union in 2010, he championed the African food basket, a vision of a continent that feeds itself, that stands with dignity, that it trades not in independency, but in strength. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, no legacy is without its moments of trial. In his later years, as economic pressures mounted and support from cooperating partners declined, Bingu wa Mutharika chose a path of firm conviction. He stood resolute in defending policy sovereignty, determined that Malawi must chart its own course, even when that path diverged from external prescriptions. His decisions, though contested, were anchored in a deep belief that national dignity and self-determination are not things to be negotiated away. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, these were not easy choices. They were the choices of a leader who, in the face of pressure, chose country over comfort, principle over approval, and sovereignty over surrender. Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir, a legacy is not defined by a single season. The fields he revived still feed the nation. The roads he built still carry its movement. The institutions he established still shape its future. The lives saved through his health interventions continue to speak in quiet gratitude. 14 years on, his vision remains alive. A Malawi that feeds itself, builds itself, and stands with a pride among nations. Mr. Speaker, sir, we return to memory, not as an act of nostalgia, but as an act of recognition. Every meal shared, every road traveled, every life extended carries, in part, the imprint of a man who refused to accept that hunger, poverty, and decline were inevitable. Let us carry forward that vision. Let us carry forward that vision, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, sir. Let us build with purpose. Let us move together as he aged. Tiende pamodzi ndi mtima umodzi. Ndi mtima umodzi tiende pamodzi. Tiende pamodzi ndi mtima umodzi. And as the fields ripen, as the classrooms fill, as the hopes continue to rise across our land, we say, we thank you, Bingu. May your soul rest in eternal peace. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information, for such an eloquent presentation of a statement. To those that were inspired by the late President, Professor Bingu wa Mutharika, that includes myself, we are so happy to listen to that in a somber mood. Honour members, before I proceed, the next to be recognized will be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He has expressed interest to make a comment. But before you, sir, I have a few announcements to make. The first announcement is we have visitors in the gallery. We have T.A. Kapuka and group village headmen. They are coming from the Lintipe constituency. Can I request the Honorable Member for the Zalintipe, Honorable Joseph Kaumpawi, to please rise? And can I request T.A. Kapuka and all the village headmen to rise? As gogo atu mosokoza ndi T.A. Kapuka, please imilirani kuti nyumba ya malamulo ikuoneni. Welcome to Parliament. Agogo atu ose takulandirani ku nyumba ya malamulo. Nyumba yanu imene Amalawi amatisankha kubwera kuzakumana kukambirana za dziko la Malawi. Mukhoza kukhala pansi takulandirani ku nyumba ya malamulo. Thank you very much, Honourable Member, for bringing us those visitors, and please, those that haven't brought their TS to Parliament, we've seen what our friends are able to do. I'm appealing to those people from Likoma. I hope your chiefs will be in the house one of these days. The next set of visitors are from the Honorable Member for Lilongwe Kampuno constituency. Honorable Khadija Chunga MP has brought us 7 high delegation of a constituency committee that made her win the elections. May the constituency committee for Lilongwe Kampuno please rise. A committee ya constituency ya Lilongwe Kampuno taimilirani. Honorable Lilongwe Kampuno, please rise. Wave at your visitors. Welcome to Parliament. Welcome to Parliament. And please take your seats. Thank you very much for coming to Parliament. This is your house. The Speaker, Right Honorable Samuel Gafar Suleiman, welcomes you and would like to encourage you to come again. The next set of visitors are 100 students from the Malawi Institute of Journalism who have come to visit and observe Parliament proceedings, possibly to take surface around Parliament as students in the tourism and the students from the Institute of Journalism. May I request the 100 students from the Institute of Journalism to please rise. Thank you very much for coming to Parliament. You are welcome to Parliament. May I request the Honorable Member for Lilongwe. May I request the Honorable Member for Lilongwe Demela to rise, and the Honorable Minister of Gender to rise and wave at our students. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable members, there is a communication coming from the Speaker's office. Good afternoon, honorable members. I wish to inform the House that the NICO Group has organized a business engagement and a dinner for all honorable members at the Bingu International Conference Center, BICC, today, Wednesday, 8th April 2026, starting at 6 p.m. The purpose of this engagement is to provide an opportunity for honorable members to interact and engage with NICO Group on innovative financial solutions that are offered by the group. All honorable members are encouraged to attend and actively participate in this important engagement. Signed, Right Honorable Samuel Gafar Suleiman, Speaker of the National Assembly. The last announcement, honorable members, is also coming from the office of the Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I wish to inform the House that the Committee on Natural Resources, Energy and Climate has elected the Member of Parliament for Palombe Northeast, Honorable Wilfred Mpisa, as the new Vice Chairperson of the committee. Let us all extend our congratulations to him and offer our full support as he takes on this important role at the committee. Congratulations, Honorable Mpisa. Right Honorable Gafar Suleiman, Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable Mpisa, oh, you have already risen. Congratulations from Right Honorable Speaker and the whole speakership. Please go ye and deliver at the committee as a vice chairperson. Thank you very much. Honourable members, I recognize the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs to ask a question or make a comment on the statement delivered by the Honourable Minister. Then I will recognize the Honourable Member from Zimba Southwest to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, First Deputy Speaker, sir. On behalf of the people of Mlanje Southwest, I would like to congratulate the Minister of Information for bringing his statement here on memory lane of the late Professor Bingwa Mutharika. I'm saying so because indeed, Professor Bingwa Mutharika was a leader. He was indeed a visionary who encouraged us to dream in colors. He is the one who encouraged me in 2004 to stand for elections. I said in my constituency, at that particular time, there were 6 candidates. I said, how will I compete against them? And they have been competing for 2 years before me. They said, don't worry, be focused. Tell them that a new broom sweeps cleaner. Believe it or not, I won and have never left up to now, 25 years. He made me to be his Minister of Foreign Affairs in 2004. Thank you, I'm doing it for the 3rd time now. Experienced diplomat, but he is the one who set the food. When I reached the office, he said, we have been with Taiwan for 40 years, but what have they done for us? I said, nothing. He said, let's go to Taiwan and tell them that they have failed. And we went to Taiwan. And he told them, that was the first trip. And I was with the people here. Honorable Mwenefumbo. We went there. And when we came back, we said, now the relations are finished. Let's go now to People's Republic of China, Beijing. And he set the standards. He said, you people, you negotiate. Don't walk away even if they gave you that drink they call it campaign. You drink at night. Campaign. But you have to talk and negotiate. We negotiated. And he was not there, but he was monitoring from afar. By 10 o'clock, we said, we are tired. He said, no, continue, discuss it. We ended up with 5 projects. One is this. The second is BICC. The third is Malawi University of Science and Technology. The fourth is Chitipa Karonga Road. And the 5th one is Bingu International Stadium. I want to agree with the Minister of Information that late Bingu was principled. He would rather, he used to say, Malawi is not a poor country, but it is the people who are poor. And he, following up that, he said, let's do everything possible to make use of our resources. Produce, of course, and export, and come out with these things of fertilizer and so on. That is, I was with him when we went to the African Union, but then it was called OAU, Organization of African Union. And they honored him because Malawi had done so well through the use of fertilizer. And we're exporting Lesotho, Swaziland, even Haiti. That was bingo. When it came to the question of devaluation of the kwacha, he did not want to devalue the kwacha. He resisted. But later on, I said, why are you resisting? He said, it's not that I don't want to devalue, but I want the donors to give me funds which will boost, which will act as a buffer for the common person in the village. That is what he wanted. Unfortunately, the people did not understand later. They quickly did what he would not like, and that was the end of it. As the Minister of Information has said, late Bingu was principled on the issue for sovereignty, and he would not like to be kicked around by anybody. Anybody, as I said. I must admit, I learned so much from late Professor Bingu Mutharika. I think what is issue now is that let us try to inculcate, believe what he set, the standards which he set, which was continued by Professor Peter Mutharika, and move on. This country will be different. This country will be different.